So welcome to the Roll and Relax classes. I'm super excited for you to be here and join me and help me and yourself relax because in these crazy times, I noticed my own self-care routine has kind of gone out the window. I usually go to yoga at 6 a.m. and after my yoga class, I do half an hour of the massage. And I'm working from home already, so that hasn't changed. But I've noticed that I'm like, getting up and then sleeping in every day. It's getting later, and then I have my first client, and I don't do my self care. I don't do my yoga. I don't do my ball rolling. So that's one reason. One reason I'm also doing these classes, so to help myself accountable and to actually do this myself. So good morning if you are in America. Good evening if you're in Europe, or good afternoon. So wherever you're watching this from. So before we get started, you will need a pair of these small massage balls called yoga tune-up balls. And if you don't have these, you can also use tennis balls. But the thing is with these balls, they are very. What I love about these balls, they're grippy. So I can show you they're grippy. They're pliable, so you can squeeze them. They're not like rock hard as lacrosse balls, and they kind of grab. So you get that kind of skin shearing action, that kind of the superficial fascia that's right under the skin. With tennis balls and lacrosse balls, you get the pressure, but you don't get that massaging action that you get with these balls. And these balls come in three colors. So when you order them, and I am not affiliated to this company, so I'm not making any money by recommending them. I just tested a whole bunch, and these are the best. When you order these, they come in three colors. You cannot pick the color. You just order them, and then you basically get whatever color you get. You can also order several pairs, which I recommend because I use them in my car. I use them in my bathroom to stand on them. They're really amazing. There's a question in the chat. Let me just look at that real quick. I'm trying to answer these at the end. Good morning. Oh, well, yes, you will be able to see Wendy. Yes, you can see the videos later if you're in the Clear Vision Club, and I will post a few on YouTube, but not every single one. So I just want to get this out of the way on the first, and I will put this video on YouTube just so that everybody can see this with the ball instructions, because I don't want to say that every single time. And then the other ball, again, the other ball that you need is an air-filled ball. I like this one. It's very grippy, so when you put it on your skin, it grabs it. It's not sliding off, so that's what you want. You can use, there's bender balls, there's all kinds of other fitness balls. If you don't have this, you can use a kid's toy ball. But again, most of them are slippery and not grippy. And these come in two different colors, and when you order them, you can say the black or the purple one. You can also get these on Prime, and they will be delivered within a couple of days. And they're very inexpensive. I think this one is $12, and these are with tax like 14. Might be a little bit more on Prime because the shipping is free. So what I like about these two, we will use them not every day. We will not use these every day, but I want you to have these ready. You can let the air out. So because we will put those on our belly, and the really taut ones, if you have a kid's toy ball, they might be really like hard, and that might be too intense, because if you have a lot of tightness here, that can literally take your breath away. And so these you can just unplug them and let them some air out, and they come with a little straw so you can inflate them again. So that's what I like. I like these like 80% blown up versus like really fully blown up. So that's the little. Oh, and another thing, if anything is too intense, these balls come in. I don't have them ready today, but they come in two other sizes. One is actually this one I have. This is like the biggest one, that's about the size of the pressure of a fist. These are about the pressure of a thumb in terms of massage. And then there's a medium ball in between called the plus ball. That's about the pressure of an elbow. So when you think of a massage therapist, the imprint. So if something is too intense that we're doing, if you're rolling on these balls on the floor and you're like, oh my God, this is too painful, you can either use older ones, because they will get softer over time if you have older ones. You can use a bigger ball like the plus one or this one if you have them, or you can always go to the wall. So I will demonstrate at the end. I'm kind of far away from the wall here, but you can do everything at the wall, because I'm just like, for example, if you put this, here, so you have the whole body weight on the ball, but if you do it at the wall, you obviously have less pressure, and you can decide depending on how far away you step from the wall, how much pressure you have. So I like to get started with the Coregeous ball, and I'm using mine. This one is pretty taut. I use this one that has a little bit less air. So use this ball, or if you don't have this, use any other air-filled ball. And if you don't have that, then I don't know. So if you don't have this, then maybe you will skip this part today and just start rolling with these balls. But if you have anything like this, an air-filled ball that's squishy, then we will start here, because this is a really great way to practice the correct breathing. And also, if we have tension in our abdomen, our diaphragm cannot work properly. And this is something I just want to explain briefly. So the diaphragm, when you exhale, it's attached to the lower ribs, and it's kind of like a dome-shaped tent. And when you inhale, the diaphragm flattens. And so that's why we talk about belly breathing. So your belly, when you inhale, you exhale, and then you inhale, so the belly will stick out, right? So we're kind of trained to suck our belly in. But what this does, or if your belly is really tight, and I'm not talking about six packs, I'm just talking about tension, then all the breathing will be up here. So you will do a lot of breathing up here. And that is okay when you're running or performing, but when you are sitting at your desk or you're at home relaxing, this is stress breathing, right? So this causes tension in all these muscles in the neck and the upper shoulders. And that's usually the tension that we have when we have like stiff neck or tight shoulders or tight upper back. It's usually related to that chest breathing, which is not necessary when you're not athletic, when you're not performing athletically. And one more thing before we get started, I like the balls either before exercise or after, or both. So they're a great way to get the muscles kind of lengthened and stretched and relaxed, and get the fascia kind of fluffy. So fascia is kind of, think of an orange. It's like the pith of an orange, that white stuff. It connects all the muscles. It connects all the tissues in the body. So the fascia is like the huge, huge piece inside of us that we never see in anatomy drawings, because they only isolate the muscles. And this is what we really want to massage, because think of leaving an orange out in the air. You now have a pit that gets dry and brittle, and that's what happens to fascia. So we want to get all that, blood, and we want to get all that collagen, all that, activated. So without further ado, let's get started. So I put this ball, it doesn't matter where, anywhere in your abdomen. And so you can tuck your toes under, and you can kind of decide and be on your forearms and just kind of slowly tune in. How does it feel? Are you like, oh my God, this is already too much? Then either let air out, be on your forearms, but if you're okay, you can also, come down like this. And then I will be this way, because you will hear me better. If I'm too low, then the sound is kind of muffled. And then just start taking easy breaths, just kind of breathing. And really see if you can isolate the belly breath, so that you see how my body is kind of moving up and down from the ball. So I'm breathing into the belly and then exhaling. If I would only breathe into the chest, then my body wouldn't be moving, right? So you can maybe do this in front of a mirror for yourself and just see. So you really want to breathe into the belly and exhale. And on the next breath, we will hold the breath. So you inhale, and then you tighten your abs as if you're doing crunches. You really tighten them. Hold your breath, and then exhale. So repeat this a few times. Inhaling into the belly, holding the breath, tightening the abs, and then and maybe find another spot. So for me, my upper belly tends to be tighter. I hold my tension more in the solar plexus. So find an area in your belly that's tight. And maybe for some of you, this might be the lower belly. This, by the way, is really good for digestive trouble. So if you have any troubles going to the bathroom, you can also, roll side to side. You can always start by just kind of tuning in, like what area of the belly feels the tightest. And when you have that area, you do that breath, which is called contract, relax. So again, you inhale, hold the breath, and tighten your abs. And then after 3 to 5 seconds, and so you might notice after doing this for a few times that the ball can slowly kind of get a little bit more into the tissues, because that contracting first actually helps the muscles to relax. So do a few more times. And you might feel your artery, like that kind of pulsing, and that's okay. And then, do a little bit of side to side, and the ball makes funky noises. I know it makes like squeaky noises. We're not in grad school anymore when you say, yeah, it sounds like a fart. And you can make circles or go up and down. And then maybe find another spot that's tight. So I noticed some tightness for me in the lower abdomen. And then you do the same thing. Inhale, tighten, hold, and then exhale. This is really good for the hip flexors too, by the way. If you have tightness in the hip flexors, you can kind of put the ball a little over here. And just laying on it too, right? You don't even have to move. You can just lay on it and breathe. So the rolling adds another layer, and the contraction adds another layer. You don't have to do this. You can simply just lay on the ball and breathe into it. That alone is really, really, really nice. So I personally tend to hold tension here and here in my jaw. These are my spots. And it's good for you to find out, like, what are your spots where you tend to hold this unconscious tension, where it's not necessary, right? When we are standing and walking and sitting, we do need to kind of have a little bit of muscle tension in the back and the front, right, to hold us upright. But there's no need to have this tightness. And the solar plexus tightness is often connected to like mental stress, right? It's not necessarily because it's actually most of the time it's mental stress more than anything. So with this crisis going on, like we're all anxious and stressed to a certain degree. I feel overall pretty calm, but I have a tendency to hold tension in this area. And then you can add another layer. This is one of my favorites. You do need to put the ball on skin though, especially if it's grippy. And I will just demonstrate it first. But you will connect with the ball, and then you turn your body around like a dial, like this. But if I do it on clothing, all I do is I'm wringing out my top. So, and since nobody can see you, I'm the only one that's on camera here. You will have to lift your top for best results. You lift your top up, right, so that you put the ball on skin, and then you turn yourself like this. And now you have that kind of pins and needles, like that the ball really grabs those tissues. Oh, that's intense for me. And then you inhale, you do the same thing. You inhale into the belly, you hold it, you tighten the abs, and then again, inhale, hold, tighten the abs, and exhale. So we do it one more time. Inhale, hold, tighten the abs, and exhale. You feel that pulsing, and then you go. And if you want to add more, I'm going to show it in this position. If you want to add more, and see now I'm self-conscious with my belly, but you can also add lift an arm up and lift up the other, so that you create a long stretch basically. And what we didn't do beforehand, but this is a great way to check the difference. There's a pose in yoga called swings pose, and you're basically like this on your forearms. And I always like to try this before and after rolling my belly, because we can only do back bends when the front body is long, right? So we cannot go into a back bend without having length in the front body. And so now I'm going the other way. I'm dialing my body. No, this is the way I went already. So I'm going to have to spin over here, right? Oops. I have to look at the video and see if you can see me. Okay. And then I do the same thing here. Inhale, hold, tighten the abs, and exhale. So inhale, tighten, hold. One more time. And then that additional, creating more length in the front body by lifting one arm and then the other. So this is called pin, spin, and mobilize. This is one of my favorites, especially for the belly, but you do need the ball on skin, because otherwise all you're doing is you're wringing out your clothes, which might be fun, but that's not really giving you the same results. And then this is the last thing today that we're doing with this ball. We will put it under the chest. So let me turn around a little bit. So you put it right, so when you come to the side, let me show you. So you basically, when you tuck your chin, the chin will touch the ball, but it's more further down the chest. It's not here, not under your throat, but it's really on your chest, like here. So like this. And then this feels so good. You might feel a lot of tension here. So if you do this and this feels really tight, the first time I did this, I was like, oh my God. And I thought, oh my God, I have boobs. That's why it hurts. But your breasts, if you're a woman here, the breasts shouldn't be hurting because it's fat, right? It's the tension that you feel, the tightness is muscle tension. So it's not coming, I'm trying to do this so my top doesn't scrunch up here for the video, but you basically, what you feel is tightness. And this is exactly when you do a lot of that chest breathing, these are the muscles in that chest that get tight. So you can relax your head down and take a few deep breaths. And now you want to breathe more into the chest to activate those muscles. I feel some tightness. You can do the same, contract, relax. You can also kind of check out, like roll side to side. Maybe there's one side that's tighter, or maybe the center is the tightest. So find an area that's tight. For me today, it's the center where I feel more tension. And again, the ball is not on your throat, right? It's on your chest. Breathe in, hold, and you can let your head relax. So when my sound, I know the sound doesn't sound, but I want you to relax your head down onto your hands. You can also make a sound. Really encourage you to sigh it out, to really make sounds. Nobody is listening. Maybe you have some family members. And if you have, maybe invite them over. Okay, so we will be finishing this with this ball for today and get on to these small ones. So I'm using the blue ones. Doesn't matter what color, they're all the same. Same with the Coregeous ball. It doesn't matter if it's purple or black. It's just a different color. So take them out of the tote. And I want to make sure when your balls, should they be really shiny, you need to replace them. I have some, I forgot to bring them over there in my room over there. But when these balls don't look matte like these, but when they look really shiny, they lost their grip. So these are pretty new. And eventually they will, because they're made of natural rubber, they will kind of, the grease from the skin, and you can use sandpaper and kind of sand them down a little bit. But if they get really like super shiny, you need to replace them. You can still stand on them. They're still great for pressure, but you don't get that grip. So the first thing I want to do today is roll the upper back. And I'm going to turn around, but the sound will not be as good. But I will show you the movement or the area of the body, and then I will instruct what to do. You see. Here, and then they go. So the balls will travel. They will travel from under your neck to, maybe like this much between your shoulder blades. So they will go up and down. And the way to do it, what you will be doing in the moment, your feet will be pushing and pulling. So it's an action like this. So you come onto and if this is too much, you can do this at the wall. So come onto the back. Let me see I want to make sure you have a good angle. And you place them side by side so they're not on your spine. the right, left and right of your spine, under your neck, and then you place your feet pretty close to your buttocks, like if you do bridge pose in yoga, if you do yoga, and then you crane your head and your hands, and you lift at your hips, right? So I'm lifting my hips up. Now I have all the weight of the balls, and this might already be too much for you. And then you push into the feet, so the balls, let me see if you can, so the balls will roll down, and then you pull, and the balls will go back up. So you do this motion here. I don't know if you can, I think you can see this. Yeah. So this might already be really intense for you, especially if you have new balls. So the way to do it, either use bigger ones, or I will show you really briefly. I don't know if you can see this. I didn't plan ahead. You see? So you can do this at the wall by bending and straightening your knees. So let's see. So you bend and you straighten your knees like this. This might have been too far away, but it's the same area of your body that you're rolling. So let me get back here. So you push and you pull. Your hips are about an inch away from the floor too, so you have to lift your hips. And when you so go a few times, and when you find an area where you feel the most tension, release your hips, release your head, release everything, and just breathe into that space. Just breathe. Take a few deep breaths. You can hug. Another nice thing that I love to do, hug yourself here. So find the space, and maybe you can grab the inner edges of the shoulder blades if you have that mobility. And then just stay here. Maybe place the feet a little further apart, let the knees come together. And then rock a little bit side to side. So you're putting more pressure on one ball and then the other. So you're gently rocking side to side. Breathing deeply in and out through the nose. Few more times, side to side. And you might notice, maybe for me, I notice that my right side is a little bit more tight than the left. Maybe you have the same, maybe one side is a little tighter. And then you come to center again, and then inhale, lift your arms up to the ceiling. So inhale, reach up really high, and then exhale and squeeze those shoulder blades together, and your arms move down. Then inhale, reach up as if you're trying to grab something up there, and then exhale, squeeze down. So you're squeezing your shoulder blades together, and you really press into the balls. Inhale, reach up high. So these are the rhomboids between the shoulder blades and the trapezius. And exhale, squeeze, press down, really contract it. I forgot right now what the proper term is. It's protract the shoulder blades, reaching up and then retracting, really pressing down. Squeeze. One more time. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, squeeze together. All right. And then what I like to do, take out one ball so that we only have one. And this is the juicy area right between the shoulder blades and your spine, right? Anywhere in this area. So don't be too concerned about the exact spot, but you find a spot that is where you feel tension. So just explore, and I'm talking about the space between the edge of the shoulder blade, like here, and the spine. So you're not on the spine, you're in on one side. I'm doing my right side. I'm placing the ball, and you can roll around a little bit and just kind of, here, right here, I feel a spot that's painful. So any spot where you feel some tension, take a few deep breaths. And then start moving your arm around. You can reach it overhead. So think of like seaweed. Your arm is like seaweed. It's floating around. It's going to the other side. And if that spot doesn't hurt anymore, then scooch up. I have to moving mine down an inch or so. So you find another area, but just let your arm move around in all directions, overhead, to the side, and then crossing over your body. So your arm is floating as you're breathing deeply. And if you want, you can put a blanket under your head. If your chin is tilted up all the way, maybe put a blanket under your head. Hmm. Oh, this feels so good. You can also just lay still. Another thing that's nice, usually the tension is most intense when you cross the arms. So you can again grab your other shoulder and just stay there. And here, the ball is right here for me, and just breathe into this. And this is really nice to do at the wall also. So you can just stand at the wall, and the further you move your feet away from the wall, the more intense the pressure. So at the wall, you have more options and to regulate how much pressure. And obviously, the newer the balls, the harder they are. This is where lacrosse balls can be too much. Yeah, finding an area. And then let's do the other side. So even though the other side wasn't as intense, we want to give the other side some attention too. So find an area on the other side. Maybe that's a little bit more uptown or downtown from your original spot on the first side. Just find a spot where you feel tension, then let that arm move around. Hmm. Really noticing, oh, I feel it when my arm is to the side. Noticing where you feel the most. So you can always stay. Like, say my arm, it hurts the most when your arm is overhead or wherever it is. You can just stay there. So you can pause the movement and just stay there and breathe into the ball. And then continue maybe the movement. And you can pause anywhere. Like, say right now, I feel in this movement, that spot hurts the most. You can pause anywhere you want. So you don't have to continue the movement, or you just find another area and find that spot where you feel the most intensity and pause there and then just breathe. Hmm. You can also, if you want to add more, you can even here, you can lift your hips up a little bit and just kind of, because the second you lift your hips, you put more body weight into the ball. So if you feel like, oh, I don't feel enough, you can always make it more intense. So that works for me right now, lifting my hips and just kind of. So for me, it's that edge of the shoulder blade, right? Where the shoulder blades, the inner edge. So I'm not on the shoulder blade, I'm right next to it, and that area is kind of tight. Ooh. So when I first did this, when I first went on these balls, I couldn't even do any of these. I was so tight, and now because I'm doing it almost every day, except for since the shutdown, I've been very irregular with my practice. But so now it's getting deeper and deeper. So you really save yourself massage therapists. I call these balls my massage therapist in the pocket, or balls of bliss. Really. So when I go to the chiropractor, I used to go all the time and he does a lot of myofascial release, not just the bone adjustments. And it was really expensive. And using these balls has really saved me from going there. So now I go maybe 3, 4 times a year to get really into the deeper stuff, versus the superficial things that are so easy to release. All right, and then let's finish that up. Let me look at the time. What time is it? Oh, we're actually at time. It's 8:45. So time always. The thing is with the balls, what I noticed, and maybe you noticed the same thing. It's more important to get on the mat and get on the balls. And once you're on there, you don't want to end. I really wanted to do the neck now, but we're out of time for today. So if you want to continue on your own, I have a client in 15 minutes, so I can't. But if you want to continue on your own, let me show you one thing that I love to do for the neck. For this one, you keep the balls in the tote, and you need a thick book or yoga block, and then you just do this, and then you say no, and you roll your head to the side and then to the other side. And for me, I always have this knot right on the right side. For me, the right side is worse. And you can just lay there, just like don't even move, just stay there and breathe. Or maybe do we say yes? Move your head yes. And then one last thing, because I want you guys to stay and do a little more. I want to do more when I can. You can also take one ball out, and just place it. So, right, this is the mastoid process, right? Like about an inch behind the ear. You place the ball there. Let me scoot a little closer so that you can see this better. And then you can also reach that arm forward and just stay there and breathe. And you can add yes and no more movements. Oops, make sure the ball doesn't fall off the yoga block. And then you can also move that ball down the neck so you get, this is where it gets juicy. This is what I plan to do, the sternocleidomastoid here. And you can even move it closer. So you have like 3 stops. Ooh, this one is really tight for me. So you can, this is another one. You can just stay there, breathe. You can add some motion by rolling, saying no. So yeah, I'm going to leave you with this. Continue without me. I will have to finish the session for today, and I see you again tomorrow, same time, every day through next Friday, April 3rd, and maybe we will continue after that. I want to see how the situation is with Corona, if I continue. But if it's still, everything is still shut down, I will continue after the 3rd. And let me see, there's something in the chat. Love this. Great. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you. Yeah, you're so welcome. And one reason as I said in the beginning, I'm doing this is because I want to hold myself accountable. It's so easy when we're at home. It doesn't matter if you have children at home or family members. I live by myself, so I really have no excuse. But I work from home, and then I get up, and then I see emails, and before you know it, I check Instagram, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this later. But I know for myself, if I don't do this in the morning, I'm not going to do it. I just know. I mean, you can do this any time of the day, but I'm a strong believer in the clear morning ritual, what I call a clear morning ritual for your vision, but also for relaxation and clarity all day. So I recommend, I had planned to do meditation and yoga before this, but it took me a little bit of time to set up the computer so that the angle is right and get some light because it's so dark. So I lost the time this morning, and I will have to do that later today. So yeah, continue rolling if you want to, or add some little movement, maybe do some yoga or some stretches, whatever feels good for you. But really, self-care is a super high priority in these times, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we get stressed, our loved ones get stressed, because it's like a ripple effect, right? And if you're the one calm person within, in a group of 10, even if it's not physically within a group, your calmness and your relaxation will have a ripple effect to others too. So that's why it's not selfish. It's really important that we do these things. And again, I'm doing this also for myself, because I noticed my own routine was kind of slipping away without my routine of going to a place where I have no distractions. So just notice what your excuses are, or what your tendencies are, and by offering this is my gift to you. Okay. You're so welcome, Wendy. Okay, I have to end this now, because you're welcome, you guys. I have a client in 10 minutes, so I have to change. All right. See you tomorrow. Bye.